Hello friends, welcome back to Cosmopolitan Cornbread. If you are brand new here, my name is Constance and my family recently moved to Arkansas. We had a homestead in Alabama where we had planted roots after 25 years of Army life. Thought we were going to live there forever until the Lord said, nope, you're moving to Arkansas, and here we are. So today I want to share a little bit of a brief update on basically my health. I've had a lot of people comment that I had lost weight. Some people thought that my weight loss was from the stress of the never-ending move, moving our entire homestead from Alabama to Arkansas, doing a lot of trips back and forth and all of that. And while it was stressful, it was exhausting, my weight loss had nothing to do with the move. My weight loss was very much intentional. Several years ago, I had decided to change the way I ate, and I went paleo. Paleo is a type of low-carb diet, kind of similar to keto. It has a few differences, but one of the great things about paleo is you don't have to worry about tracking nutrients, macros, micros, anything like that. You just follow the rules. And when I did that, my results were amazing. The joint pain that I dealt with pretty much vanished. My allergies, my seasonal allergies vanished. That was something that I suffered from almost my entire adult life. Definitely every year that we spent in the South, which was most of my adult life. And of course, I lost a ton of weight. In about 30 days, I dropped, it was about 4 jean sizes. I felt amazing. And I stuck with it for quite a while, over a year, I believe, a year and a half, I think. And then the vid hit. Life was crazy, and I just started going back to eating pretty much the way I used to. The weight came back, the allergies came back, and the pain came back. And about a year or so ago, I was like, man, you know, I've got to do this. I've got to get back on it. I've got to go back to eating paleo. I felt so much better, etc., etc. And I did it for about 2 weeks, I think. I didn't do it for very long. I knew I needed to, but I didn't. You know, I'm human. What can I say? Now, going back to the joint pain thing, my issues with the pain in my body all started back in 2016, the year we bought our Alabama homestead, and I contracted Rocky Mountain spotted fever from a tick bite. It was, up to that point, the sickest I had ever been in my life. It took me a really long time to recover from it. And of course, at the time, my husband was out of the country for a year. And I was trying to build chicken coops and all of that by myself. And at the time, for me, the symptoms were, of course, a fever. I had spots, I had a rash, I had body aches, headaches. But I think the worst symptom was it felt like someone had taken hammers and beaten me from my elbows to the tips of my fingers. The pain in my arms was absolutely excruciating. I would lay down in bed at night, and I had a fever. It didn't really bother me. I was warm, but I was fine. However, I would wake up about 3 o'clock in the morning and I couldn't get another second of sleep because of the pain. And then I would end up breaking down and taking some Motrin or Tylenol just to deal with the pain in my hands and my arms. And then of course my fever would break, and then I would be sweating, and then I wouldn't get any more sleep. So it was a struggle. But from that point on, I would have reoccurring bouts of joint pain. Most often it was in my hands. Sometimes it was other places. Sometimes it was in my feet or my back or my neck. It really just depended on how bad that flare-up was. And that was one of the things that kind of provoked me to go paleo was not only my weight gain, but also the joint pain. Well, when it came time to move, you know, we're in the process of moving, and I found myself getting up in the mornings with my entire body hurting. Some mornings I could barely walk. My joints were hurting so badly. My hands hurt, my back hurt, my feet hurt, everything hurt. And my energy was down. I was exhausted all the time. And I mean, of course, going to be exhausted from moving, but this was just, it was a deeper exhaustion. And I had gained back pretty much every bit of weight that I had ever lost. And I had had several conversations with people who had done low-carb diets. And I decided that I was going to do something very bold, much more drastic than paleo. I decided I was going to go carnivore. And I didn't really talk about it, I just did it. I did mention it briefly in an Aldi's haul video because I bought a lot of meat in that video on that particular shopping trip, but that's the only, I believe that's the only reference I ever made of it. And lo and behold, in about a month, I had lost over 20 pounds. I'd gone down 3 jean sizes. My pain was gone. My energy was up. And I felt amazing once again. I mean, I love bread. I love bread. I used to joke that I was a carnivore because I would be perfectly content eating nothing but bread and butter for a meal, for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, snacks. I could put down some bread. I love pasta. I love all the things. I don't really consume a lot of sugar, a little bit here and there. I do like to bake things, but a lot of times I would bake things to take places because the older I get, the less I like sweet things. But man, could I just chow down on the bread. But the thing is, bread does not like me. Bread does bad things for my body. And when I started eating this way, everything just kind of fell into place. Now, when we were in the middle of moving and things started warming up here, I did have a little bit of allergies for just a few days, and that was pretty much it. But that was right around the time that I started eating carnivore, and my allergies were very short-lived. I mean, they were gone in very short order. No more sniffling, sneezing, itchy, watery eyes, itchy ears, itchy roof of my mouth. It was all gone. Now, the carnivore diet is a very low-carb diet. Your body does go into ketosis when you are doing it. And part of the reason I was very hesitant about doing it was just because of what I had read back when I was doing my research of paleo versus keto several years ago. And I had decided to go with paleo back then just because I had read so much about people developing kidney stones when they were doing a keto type of diet. But the more I've learned and the more I've read about it, I believe, this is my understanding, I could be wrong, but this is how I've come to understand it. When you are on a keto type of diet, very low carb, whether it's keto, ketovore, carnivore, it is very, very important to consume a lot more water. And not just water, but a lot more salt and minerals than you're used to. And I found when in the first month that I was doing carnivore, I was so dry. My hands, my feet, my skin overall was really, really dry. I also started having muscle cramps. And it was very simply, I needed to drink more water, but I also needed to up my minerals, including salt. I wasn't getting enough because when you cut carbs out of your diet, and of course carbs is short for carbohydrates, your body uses carbs to keep hydrated. So when you are cutting those out, you have to supplement by drinking more water than you're accustomed to, a lot more water. And because you are drinking that much more water, you've got to supplement with the salts and the minerals because your body isn't going to retain them otherwise. And so I really, knowing how dry my body was at that time, I think that probably has something to do with why some people develop kidney stones doing keto. So I am being extremely diligent. So I have more than one of these. If I go someplace, I will fill more than one and take them with me. But I am drinking at least, this is a 40-ounce bottle, I'm drinking at least 4 of these every day. And every bottle that I drink, I am putting in electrolytes. I have a couple different ones that I'm using. I am using some drops called Keto Chow mineral drops. They are disgusting. I will tell you straight up, they're disgusting. If you put just the drops in your water and then you try and drink it, if you've ever been to the beach, like the ocean beach, and gotten a mouthful of ocean water, that's what that makes your water taste like. It has the viscosity, it's disgusting. I could not handle it. And so I have 2 different electrolyte mixes that I use. They're sugar-free, they're sweetened with stevia or monk fruit or a combination, and they come in all different flavors. They're really, really good. You can get them on Amazon, you can find them, I know one of them you can get at places like Whole Foods. I found them at Natural Grocers up in Northwest Arkansas. So there's a lot of stores that carry them. And so what I started doing is I put the keto drops in, and then I also add in the electrolyte mix because the electrolyte mix has flavor and it hides that salty, briny sort of ocean water that the keto chow drops do. And so I add the drops so that I'm getting all of that. And I do also take additional supplements. I take additional potassium and magnesium. And by doing that, I have found I don't get the dry skin. I'm not getting the muscle cramps or anything like that. And I feel like I found my groove. And so that's kind of where I'm at. And then, of course, speaking of kidney stones, those of you who are not brand new here know that about a year and a half ago or so, I was supposed to have surgery to remove some very large kidney stones that live in my right kidney. At the time, I was not able to have the surgery. I went to have it, and the anesthesiologist said, nixed it, because my blood pressure was out of control. I have a genetic predisposition to high blood pressure. Losing weight has had no effect. Diet, exercise, all those things that they say to do had no effect. Unfortunately, I ended up going through a number of different medications, a number of different prescriptions. I tried every herbal concoction and tincture and everything out there that I could. Nothing worked. Finally, the doctor found a medication to put me on that did. And that was after I was on another one that worked but made me literally feel like I was dying. It was horrible. And after about 3 weeks, I demanded that they take me off it and try something else. And I was put on this. It's a beta blocker. I hate that I'm on it, but at least for the time being, I have to be to keep my blood pressure under control, because it was admit me in the hospital and don't let me out till it's down high. So technically my blood pressure is back to a normal range. It's all under control and all of that. And ideally, I would probably be rescheduling my surgery to have the kidney stones removed because they're very, very large. And except we moved. And right now, I do not have a primary care provider, a doctor. I do need to begin that search, however, because I got a letter from our insurance company stating I have 2 months to find a doctor or they're going to drop us from the insurance. So my husband and I both have to find a doctor quickly. And to be honest, it makes me really, really nervous because, first of all, I haven't had the greatest experience with a lot of doctors. I mean, I need a doctor who is not going to look at me sideways when I tell them I don't like taking medications and I'd like to try natural things and herbs first. I had a great doctor back when I had Rocky Mountain spotted fever who, when I told her I treated my tick bite with raw honey, she thought that was a great idea. You won't find very many doctors in the United States who think that. Now, to this day, if I eat things that my body doesn't like, I will often end up with joint pain the next day. My hands will be aching, my feet will be aching, but as long as I eat low carb, whether it is, the carnivore diet or whether it is carnivore or paleo, that joint pain, those body aches, it's the inflammation stays under control. Another thing that kind of contributed to me wanting to do it this time around, doing the carnivore diet, was for about a year or so, I had been struggling with a lot of gut issues as well. I was having problems with dairy, or so I thought. Come to find out, I don't think it was the dairy all along. I had been buying lactose-free half and half or lactose-free milk. I realized it wasn't the dairy, it was the coffee. Because it didn't matter what half and half I used, what milk I used, my stomach was absolutely killing me. And so one day I'm like, well, maybe lactose-free half and half isn't good for me either. And so the following morning I got up and I decided I'm just going to make myself drink black coffee. I'll learn to like it. I love coffee. I couldn't imagine life without having it. I love coffee. And so I got up that morning, I drank half a cup of black coffee, and I just felt like I had knives in my stomach. So I stopped drinking coffee a while ago. I have been drinking tea instead with half and half in it, not lactose free, and I was fine. And it's okay. I mean, I like tea, but I love coffee. And about a week or so ago, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a try. I've been eating really well. Maybe I've given my body the time for my gut to heal. And I decided to have a half a cup of coffee and see what happened. And I was fine. So the next day, I had a whole cup of coffee. And I was fine. Now, I'm not going overboard. I'm being careful. I'm not drinking, a whole pot of coffee a day like I was, but I am allowing myself, as long as I can, as long as I don't have any issues, to have 1 cup of coffee every morning. And that just makes my heart happy. I had even bought like special low acid coffee that I had to mail order. I had tried all sorts of things and nothing was working, but I let my body rest, was doing strict carnivore, and it allowed my body to heal. And so that's kind of where we're at. Now, I don't know that I can see myself doing carnivore forever. Maybe I can do mostly carnivore and keto on the weekends or something like that. I don't know. To be honest, I'm just kind of taking it 1 week at a time. Now, when I originally did the carnivore, I told myself I'm gonna I'm going to set a goal. I'm going to do this for 30 days and I'm going to see how I do. Well, the first 30 days was actually really easy. It was a lot easier than I thought it would be, and I was feeling so good. I'm like, when the 30-day time frame came, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it for 60 days. And then I did it for 90 days. And this has been going on now ever since the weekend I had brought Duke here when we were in the middle of moving. And then I had to turn around and take him back because he was a nervous wreck without the other dogs. That's when it was. That's when this all started. So that is where I'm at. That's what I've been doing. And at least for the foreseeable future, I'm going to stick with it. And, you know, maybe after a while, I'll gradually start adding things back in and just see how my body does. I honestly think that back when I contracted Rocky Mountain Spotted Fever, that it may have triggered some sort of autoimmune thing in my body, because a lot of times the symptoms that I get are very autoimmune related in that family. But I mean, I don't have anything diagnosed, but I do know that tick bites can often lead to autoimmune problems. And low carb diets, whether it's paleo, keto, carnivore, they're very, very helpful for autoimmune conditions. So that is where I'm at. That is how I lost the weight that I have. And that's just kind of been my life for the time being and will be for the foreseeable future. Like I said, I will probably at some point begin adding other things back into my diet and just see how my body reacts and just take it one day at a time. So that is it for today. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below and I will do my best to answer them if I have the answers. My name is Constance from Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and I'll talk to y'all next time.